For more on Biden's foreign policy, I'm joined now by Susan Tehrani. She is a journalist and political commentator and the vice president for the Association of Foreign Correspondents here in the United States. So, Susan, what do you think will be the #1 foreign policy priority for a Biden administration? There is still so much outstanding between Iran, the Paris Climate Agreement, North Korea. What do you think will be #1, top of list?
Well, you know, if we talk about for any president's foreign policy, the #1 priority after 9/11 has been counterterrorism. And whether George W. Bush, he took a harsher stance on the so-called Bush doctrine, but the Obama administration sort of followed that counterterrorism policy, albeit different in rhetoric. In terms of that issue and national security, Joe Biden has been very clear. He said that he supports a counterterrorism plus strategy, which means that fighting terrorism networks in foreign countries using small groups of special U.S. forces and aggressive airstrikes as opposed to large troop deployment. That's very similar to what the Obama administration did with its drone strikes and, you know, deploying small groups in different countries as well.
So do you think counterterrorism could be bigger than China?
Counterterrorism, counterterrorism after 9/11 will always play a very central role in America's foreign policy. I think they learned that the hard way. China also a very important issue, and Joe Biden has said that, you know, he knows that China has been taking about 1 million manufacturing jobs away from the United States. He wants to be tough on China, but on the other hand, he also wants to go back to global treaties like the Paris Accord. And the irony in that is that he promises to be tough on China, but recommitting to the Paris Accord while simultaneously saying that he's going to be tough on China. Well, China was granted a waiver until 2035 to comply with Paris Accord goals. So it's yet to be seen when he wants to take this tough stance, how tough a stance he will really take.
And we know that Biden is not unknown to world leaders. After all, he was vice president for 8 years under Obama. So how are world leaders watching this election? And could we see the same approach the Obama administration took, basically in an Obama 2.0?
Very similar. I mean, he's served on the Senate Foreign Relations Committee for the past 30 years. He's been Obama's vice president. He's spent center stage in that regard in advising the president on foreign policy issues. And, you know, in terms of that issue, Democrats, and Biden included, being a textbook Democrat, as I mentioned, he's wary of unilateral efforts. He's emphasizing the importance of diplomacy and working through alliances and global institutions. And I think that we'll see a lot of that. Yes, Obama 2.0.
And, you know, with so many domestic issues inside the United States, coronavirus, we're seeing a very divided nation. Could Biden even look outside the U.S. in his first year? We know that Trump has angered a lot of U.S. allies, and how long would that take for him to reset those relationships?
Yeah, I mean, I think the world is watching. Those that want a betterment of ties with the United States and America's allies are looking forward in working with the United States on issues like the coronavirus. I think we're going to see a lot of UN involvement, the WHO, so on and so forth. But the Biden administration regarding coronavirus has been very clear that while it wants to work with other countries, it wants to be the leader in fighting this pandemic.
All right, Susan Tehrani in New York, thank you so much for joining us.